What's up, guys? Jar here, back with another video, and in this video I'll be showcasing you why your clothing brand isn't getting the sales that you want and exactly how to fix that. So there's really three main reasons why, and it's really simple once you break it down. But for some context, this is me, my clothing brand. There's some orders in the background, as you can see. This was yesterday, and then this is my Instagram. We have 100K followers on Instagram and TikTok, so you know what I'm saying, that's just some authority for you guys. But the first reason why that your clothing brand isn't hitting the numbers that you want to hit is that it doesn't look like a real brand. So I see this with a lot of clothing brands, you know, especially beginner clothing brands. Many brands fall victim here. You know, when you go to their Instagram itself, you know, even from their website, to their social medias and just everything in general from a brand perspective, everything is just like low effort, low quality. So like everything needs to be congruent. You know what I mean? You need to have high quality socials. You need to have a high quality website, and just essentially high quality everything. You know, so that translates all the way from ad creative to the Instagram page, all the way to your email flows, and even just your websites and product pages. You know what I mean? And I could probably find a clothing brand right now that I can be nitpicky with. You know what I'm saying? So let me try to find one. All right, let's do this one. All right, so this is a good brand. 3,000 followers. As you can see, the content is actually not that bad, but even stuff like this, you know, it gives like low quality. It gives like, you know, not a real established brand that you would want to buy from. You know what I mean? Let's go to their website. Straight off the bat, they got this weird animation thing going on in the background. You know, that their actual like photography is not bad, and it's just like the small things. You know, everything's in the small, minute details. Like, you know, even just from, you know, this random color of blue, and I'm not sure that's the brand colors, to the, you know, mismatch sizing of the photos. You know what I mean? Just like everything needs to be congruent. You know what I mean? Even from like the menu and how it's just catalog and contact. You know, the basic stuff. And from here, well, the background is really fucking them up here, but they just essentially only have their product photos. They don't have any information in regards to shipping or what have it. Like, I can show you guys my website just for some context. You feel what I'm saying? Like, here we go. On the Starlight zip up, as you can see, high quality product photos. Everything's clean, minimal. We have the description, shipping details, care instructions. You know what I mean? On that end, and social proof. You know, it's just a clean, optimized website, right? And that's just on the website side of things. You know what I mean? So I just found this random brand, and you know, a lot of people fall victim to this. You know, they're not very detail oriented when it comes to how they're presenting their brand, and that really shows to a consumer at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it really shows to a consumer at the end of the day, because the small details matter. You know what I mean? And moving to the second reason why, this kind of ties to the first reason, and that's just essentially not having any social proof when it comes to your clothing brand. You know what I mean? So just like that one website I was showing you guys, like they didn't have any social proof in terms of actual like real customers on the website itself. You know what I mean? They actually have some social proof here, which is good, but I just picked out a random brand here on Instagram. As you can see, social proof. This can even pertain to just even followers, you know. So 900 followers, no highlights whatsoever. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's just the lack of consistency when it comes to presenting your brand and your products. You know what I mean? It just looks low quality, low effort. And when I go to their tag, they only have 2 tag photos. You know what I mean? So like when you're a consumer, you know what I'm saying, you're making bets at the end of the day, you know, and everyone already has this stigma on Instagram brands and not shipping, what have it. So social proof is really key in order to gaining that trust with a customer. And I'll just show you guys like my Instagram, for example, on Angelic. As you can see, instant social proof off the bat, 100K followers. We have hella highlights of just tag customers in our products. As you can see here, just hella highlights of tag customers in our products, and it just goes on and on and on and on. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, we know this is a real brand. We know they actually ship. You know what I'm saying? We know they actually get sales, and other people are wearing it. You know what I mean? And just from a content perspective, you can also see like how clean and better the product photography is and the overall presentation and layout is compared to, something like this. You know what I mean? So when you're a consumer, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, boom, would I want to buy from a brand like this, or would I want to buy from a brand like this? You know what I'm saying? So everything needs to be really, you know, everything needs to be really dialed in, you know what I'm saying? And even from the tag, we get a lot of tags and what have it. So it's just more social proof on social proof. Yeah, the small details matter, you know what I mean? And David Ogilvy, he's one of the fathers of advertising, one of the best advertisers in history, has a quote, and essentially he said, "Your customer is not an idiot; she's your wife." You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, people like to think that customers are stupid, but they're not in reality. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just have to ask yourself, would you buy from your own brand? You know what I mean? And it's really that simple. Once you look at everything from a customer's lens, you know what I'm saying? Then you can really, make real decisions and adjustments when it comes to your brand. You know what I'm saying? Because everything at the end of the day needs to be congruent. Like I said, high quality socials, high quality website, and high quality everything. You know what I mean? And that just moves me on to my last and final point, which is no eyeballs. You feel what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, if you have all of this dialed, right? Boom, 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 but you don't have eyeballs, how do you expect people to buy? You know what I'm saying? So once you already have like a design that you have a lot of confidence and faith in, you know what I mean? Now it's all about promoting that and pushing that into people's, feeds and just getting it seen. Because at the end of the day, people can't buy what they don't know. You know what I'm saying? So you can have hard products, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can have cool products like these, but at the end of the day, you have to get eyeballs onto them in order to convert them into actual buyers. So there's really like three main ways to getting eyeballs with your clothing brand. And number one is just organic marketing. So this can be just posting on Instagram and TikTok. Back in 2022, when I had started my brand, TikTok was huge for clothing brands. Now it kind of died, and you just had to be able to adapt, you know what I'm saying, when the algorithm changes or what have it. But now at TikTok, I really see like personal brands, founder-led brands do well organically. So really just like telling a story with your content and with your brand, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, just telling a story, organic native content. And then influencer marketing. So you can just do product seeding, is where essentially you hit up a lot of influencers on Instagram and TikTok in your niche. And essentially you just send them free gear and they'll make some content for you, whether that be a feed post or a TikTok or a reel that you can then use, for paid ads. And then also you get the added benefit of the organic marketing. And then paid ads, last but not least, this is what I currently do and currently focus on heavily, because one is more predictable than these two, you know what I'm saying? Because essentially you're at the mercy of the algorithm when you're with organic marketing, and influencer marketing is not directly scalable in the sense of that you don't have the direct ROI and attribution, you know what I'm saying? So paid ads is where a lot of brands at that 6-figure, 7-figure, 8-figure a month mark, invest a lot of energy into. And yeah, this is all just running through Instagram and TikTok. And like I said, at the end of the day, you need to create engaging native content. And that even goes in hand with paid ads, because that's essentially what paid ads is, just organic content that's boosted, because at the end of the day, it shows in the same placements as, regular reels and TikToks, you know what I'm saying? It just has a little sponsored icon behind it. And, you need to understand that people like to buy things, but they don't like being sold to. So it's really important that you create engaging native content. So you're going to drive down your CPMs, and ultimately you're going to reach a lot more net new people. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have a lower cost per acquisition, which is good at the end of the day. And basically, well, for one, if your performance is already good, just scale your spend. But if your performance is not good or not where you want it to be, then I would launch new creative batches weekly. So what that looks like is essentially you would create content throughout the week, right? And then essentially whether whatever day you decide to launch them on. I like to launch my new ads on a Monday. Then I'll launch that typically 3 to 5 net new concepts, especially with the new Meta Andromeda update, where essentially you need more creative diversity, you know what I'm saying? So it's really important on that side of things. And I can just show you guys, yeah, so this is yesterday in my ad account. I spent $250 on this catalog. I'll show you this ad right here top spinning ad for us. It's just simple content, pieces of content. You know what I mean? As you can see, boom, just showing off the product, in an appealing way. And as you can see, I have a lot of different styles of creators in here, just small tweaks and variations. So giving the machine more options and variations to choose from, and then ultimately it'll choose to deliver the best one. Here we got another creative, just lifestyle showing off the product, as you can see there. I'm gonna show you this one as well. This one, just a native content, as you can see, just showing off the content, or showing off the piece rather. And then yeah, it's really that simple at the end of the day, because when it comes down to it, there's really only three major reasons why, aside from like having a shitty product, in terms of why you're not getting sales or the amount of numbers that you want. But yeah, my name is Jar. You can join my secret Telegram group down in the description below. I will close it off after I reach a certain number of members because I want to keep it small and limited. But yeah, if you guys want one-on-one mentorships, I have a few spots opening up soon, so you can apply in the link in the description as well. Till then, you guys can keep watching my free content. And yeah, I'll see y'all boys in the next one.